everyone. My name is Jordan Reinhardt. I'm a student, as he said. I'm studying management and informatics. In the course we had this year, uh, we were informatics students and digital students. Some of us never coded before, and it was their first try. So I'm going to talk about it. But before that, I want to talk about me, and so this is me. In my last holidays, I was in Seoul. No, just kidding. I'm, go I'm going there. How I learned Elm. So it all started thanks to Thibaut. As I was saying, I will talk first about myself. So I have an engineering background. I did some electronical, some mechanical, and some computer engineering before coming to my school. During my curriculum, I programmed a bit in Swift, in C, or in Python. I did some other languages too, but it's not, I'm not that good at it. So, back to Elm. When we started, it all started with the core of the language. You all know that, on the Elm-Lang website, there's an induction course to Elm. So we started with that. We reviewed the core of the language, and then we went to see how the code is. So I guess you all know that. It's kind of the hello world of Elm. But for someone who had coded before, it was kind of, man, what was that? All of these things intricated. A lot of stuff repeating itself, and just for 1 plus, 1 minus. And I was like, it's a lot of lines for that. We took some time to understand how things work. We went step by step, analyzing every bit of the code, understanding how everything is linked together. It took us like 2 hours just to do that because, as I said, a lot of us weren't into programmation before, into coding. We took a lot of time with that. And then he said, just go ahead and try to modify something out of this code. We went there, we hit the code. But, as I did some programming before, I got some uses, like I don't often take time to think about the code I'm going to write. I just go at it. So I try to implement a function. I try to implement a button, trying to how to fuse it so that the back goes with the front and stuff like that. And I was building, stacking the piles, and inevitably, something went wrong, and I didn't know what. So I went to see Thibaut, and he just told me, take a step back and think about it. He told me, not use the force, but use your brain. But use the force is much funnier. So he just said, use your brain. Write it down on a paper sheet, what you want, what everything is. Try to do some diagrams. And this is what I did. And it went crystal clear after that. I could find my mistakes by myself. And so, as I was the first student to understand it and to go further, I was kind of bragging a bit. And he said, I want you, for the end of the course, to do some kind of a calculator. And I was like, you know what? This is too easy for me. I can do a game. And he said, you're sure about that? And I said, yeah, sure. I can make things work. I can use the force, stuff like that, And so I went back to do some Elm. I decided to do some kind of Flappy Bird. So with the bird going up, down, and then some sprites coming, and do some collisions that do game over and stuff like that. And my old habits came back. So I started to implement without thinking. So stacking the code, and then I was stuck. But deeply stuck because I have written a lot of lines of code, and I really didn't know what to do. So I left it behind, and we went to our last day of coding with Thibaut, and that was kind of feeling bad because I was bragging and everything, and I couldn't even make something happen. So he just told me, use the force. And together we took a board and we just made everything right. And I'm going to show you what I did. It's not a lot. It's just a bird going down. And when I hit fly, it goes up. And it took me, I don't know, maybe 20 hours just to do that. And you all have programmed before. When we have something, even as, I would not say shitty, but even as little as that, we feel proud. And I was so proud of this. But come on, it's just a bird going down and going up, and it's like, yeah. And then, no, it's not over. So I was proud of myself. And then I took my head up and I was watching what my classmate did. So my classmates, some of us came from sales, some of us came from marketing, some of us took a business course. Even one of them was in language studies. So they didn't know anything about, the logics that's behind the coding and stuff like that. And I took time to see what they did. So at first they were really struggling. Even to add one button, it took hours for them. A lot of them, tried to quit. But all it took was Thibaut going there and explaining everything one more time. I mean, because a lot of us had coded already, so we started by ourselves. So he had more time to focus with them and to explain everything from the beginning. So they have seen a bit how it works. He just explained it one more time, and I did it. So here I have now a few examples of what they did. So they stick to the calculator, and something that I didn't realize myself is that it's a language made for front, and all I did was some back stuff, and I didn't even know that we could change the colors and stuff like that, because I was not into this part. And then they just programmed the calculator, and then afterwards, this group, they went to look for the best colors for the calculator. They went on a lot of articles, like they did some studies, which are the colors the most linked to mathematics, stuff like that. So they did something really great, and it's a calculator, but it worked, and it's beautiful. And it was done in like 9 hours of teaching, and then some home practice. So that's it. Thank you for listening to me, and you rock.